Household consumption in Nigeria has declined dramatically, with first quarter and second quarter 2024 figures showing a minus 42.28% and minus 61.18% drop year-on-year respectively, and this is according to the NBS data published in July 2025. Quarter-on-quarter, quarter two spending collapsed by 99.24%, and despite falling inflation, stagnant wages and dollar-priced imports are driving the downturn. Multinationals are exiting as consumers can no longer afford basic goods. Analysts recommend urgent policy actions, reduce food prices by restoring security in farmlands, introduce a tax holiday for SMEs, subsidize power costs through VAT-linked rebates, and gradually lower long-term interest rates. Now, without stimulus, prolonged weak consumption could deepen economic fragility and stall Nigeria's recovery efforts. I'm now joined by Itoro Nehemiah. He is an investment banker and with Parthian Partners. Thank you so much, Itoro, for joining me on the news.
Hi, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, what are the key drivers behind the sharp drop in household consumption in the first and second quarters of 2024?
Okay, so I'll say that the key drivers for that sharp drop is something that almost every Nigerian can relate to, and this is beyond whatever economic terms or analysis we may throw around it. And in one word, it's simply inflation. I think every Nigerian has witnessed this. Every Nigerian has experienced this. I've seen the prices of goods and commodities rise, and driven chiefly, I think in 2024 we saw some record high inflation numbers driven by food inflation and energy costs as well, which are some of the effects of the removal of the fuel subsidy. So what's happened is, even though we've seen how disposable income grow by about 17%, inflation has grown a lot faster, or inflation grew a lot faster over that period, which led to, in real terms, or wage decline in real terms. So basically, households, even with, say, similar income levels, were only able to afford less. So the purchasing power of those households reduced. And that's why we had the sharp drop in household consumption over those periods.
Okay, what about how has inflation and stagnant wage growth contributed to the rise of the sachet economy in Nigeria?
I would say it's contributed, right? As I mentioned, because of high inflation exceeding wage growth, what that means is that we have households who are no longer able to buy as much as they could. Purchasing power has reduced. And so suppliers, in response to this, have, packaged some of those goods in smaller quantities. So if, for example, a household could buy a bag of rice and, get away with it. Reduced purchasing power means that they're not able to afford that bag of rice because costs have gone up. And so with suppliers packaging those goods in smaller quantities, households are able to buy in those quantities. It's sort of manageable. However, I think while it has the benefit of making these products, also having these products be accessible to the everyday Nigerian, the flip side of this conversation is that such households then lose out on the benefits of economies of scale, like buying in large quantities, or some of the units, I would say, unit margins you gain when you buy in large quantities as opposed to when you buy in smaller quantities. But yeah, that's why we've had the sachet economy. It's been in response to, I would say, it's been the market's response to the reducing purchasing power of these households.
So why are multinationals exiting Nigeria? Is it closely tied to reducing cost or reduced customer spending or consumer spending?
So I would say yes, to a certain extent. There would be some correlation there, but I would say that multinationals exit Nigeria or have exited Nigeria in the last couple of years for a myriad of reasons. Some of them being strategic. We've seen companies, I think like P&G, changing its model from producing Nigeria to an import only. We've seen Unilever rebalance its product portfolio. We've had many other reasons as to why some of these multinationals have exited. You have FX challenges, but I would say that collapsed demand is perhaps one of those reasons as well. So collapsed demand and high inflation, cost of production, all the works. On the one hand, these exits create opportunities for local players to come into that space and help Nigeria's journey towards self-sufficiency, but also raises concerns, given some of the cost of productions we have here in Nigeria. May not exactly be a very good signal if we're looking to attract more FDIs. And then there's also the question of the local players' capabilities to continue to invest in capital projects in that space to, improve those sectors.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Itoro, for your time and for speaking on this.